What up, Bulls Nation? Peck here. We've got a live CHGO Bulls postgame coming up for y'all right around the corner. Game 82 in the books. Bulls take care of the Sixers. Billy starts his guys, but rests them in the second half. Rest versus rust. We'll have that talk and look ahead to the play-in coming up next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to CHGO Bulls postgame. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Day. Bam! Bam! BNWL Sports. Bam. Four-time NBA champ, Will Perdue. Uncle Will _Perdue 32. 4. The other Will, perfectly coiffed. Mm-hmm. The GOAT, Gottlieb, Will _Gottlieb. And the queen of the controls, the one and only Katie Duffy. Katie doesn't have a mic. What up, Katie? The wave. Goodbye, Victoire. Regular season.
Victoire, Katie.
It's in the books.
Hit him. Bulls win. Hit him. Bulls win. Smack on time for the last time. Bulls win. And drop the bomb on this 82-game season. Because we finished it with a Bulls win. That's what we did.
Woo! Shout out, Bulls Nation. If you're hanging out with us on YouTube, appreciate you being here. Hit that like button now so Katie doesn't bug you about it for an hour. And throw us your nominees for Goon of the Night. Throw us a super chat if you're feeling generous. Bulls take care of business. 122-102. 39-43 on the season. Finish as the East's 9th seed. Does this sound familiar?
Will Perdue?
I just want to make sure that Frenchie wanted me to say hello.
Frenchie. What up, Frenchie?
Hey, can I say something, though?
Yeah.
Sure.
Full house today also, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Awesome.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so Frenchie, and then who's the other gentleman that came?
Easy?
From France with his
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy and Clem.
With his fiance.
Our two lead French.
Oh, no, that was Kalen. Kalen isn't from France, though.
Where was he from?
Ireland, Dublin.
Or was it the ones from Australia?
Australia. No, you're right. It was Australia.
I was going to say, I thought Australia.
It definitely was Australia.
I think that we can all say this group.
I got my man General Steve confused with that. Go ahead.
This group and those guys are overachievers.
This group?
Yeah.
Why are they overachievers?
Because they're Bulls Nation members who travel long distances to support their team?
No, they have a tendency to hang with crowds that are over their head. It's like they catch big fish without a hook.
I know exactly what he's saying.
I don't.
I will tell you off the show. I know exactly what he's trying to say right now. Exactly. You're a wild guy.
But I'm in the same group. What do you want to say?
Outkicked your coverage.
Outkicked your coverage. Yeah.
You know. Oh, in that regard, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. I don't think the Bulls outkicked their coverage this season. I think they're exactly where they planned
that was not
on
the
being and
segue
wanted to
I was
be.
thinking about.
Right. Segue Peck, baby.
Segue Peck.
That's how you roll.
Okay, like we could talk about this game that we saw, if you could even call it that. It was pretty gross. That was some YMCA stuff, especially in the second half. Let's start with this. Modest, Julian, Vooch, Kobe, and Herter is Billy's starting five. They did give Josh Giddey, who's still dealing with that weird wrist sprain thing, the day off. But what do we make of Billy's decision to play those guys? Julian Phillips was the only member of the starting five from tip-off who did continue to play in the second half. The other four got the second half off. What do we make of that sort of straddling the fence of a little bit of rest, but also trying to prevent the rust by letting them go out there and get a first half under their belt?
Well, first of all, let me say at least this game did not go into overtime like the Pistons and Bucks.
Oh, wow.
We're in OT right now.
That's unfortunate.
And
meaningless OT?
Yeah.
Woo!
So we're looking on the bright side.
Free basketball for those fans.
There it is. There it is. I didn't like it. I didn't want them out there. I wanted them resting.
At all. You wanted Billy to sit everybody in that starting unit?
Yeah. I wanted them to rest. Or, at least your main guys like Kobe and Vooch, I wanted them to rest and not be out there on the floor. Yeah, I didn't want them there, but this has been the consistency. This would probably be a word I say a lot on this show.
Consistency
today. It's consistency, but this has been consistent with what Billy Donovan has kind of done. He did this last year also. I remember when I was like, man, don't play Caruso. And Caruso was out there playing. And Vooch was out there playing. And DeMar was out there playing. And so he's consistent in that fact. And I will be consistent in the fact that I don't like it. And I would rather have those guys sit and rest and be ready to go in this playing game, which is obviously something they have put a ton on. I am not about risking the guys in this situation, risking that kind of injury, risking anything that I don't have to. So I'm sure there's a reason why. I'm sure there's some people who definitely disagree with my process and thought process on this, but that's just how I feel, man. I would not be playing Kobe. I would not be playing Vooch. I would be letting those guys rest and get ready for Wednesday in another kind of way.
Player perspective?
I was going to say, the more interesting question here is, like, from a player's perspective, does going from Friday to Wednesday versus Sunday to Wednesday change anything for you in terms of days off and the rust versus rest debate?
I think it's up to the individual. And the reason why I feel that it was important, in my opinion, for those guys to play is twofold. One, Kobe has always admitted he's a rhythm guy, okay? And the reason why I say that is I'm using his words specifically, okay? So when he went from 2 seasons ago to last season, he said the biggest struggle for him was, and one of the reasons why he felt that he went through those shooting slumps last season compared to 2 seasons ago, was because 2 seasons ago when he wasn't playing as many heavy minutes, he would consistently, there's your word, come into the gym and get up shots to keep his rhythm. Last year, because he was playing so many minutes, he couldn't get into the gym to get shots up and to keep his rhythm. So for him, because of that, and him constantly talking about him being a rhythm player, plus there have been times this year I've seen him exhausted, but I think he's in much better shape, probably more mentally than physically. I wanted to see him play the first half exactly like he did to keep that rhythm, okay? I know he's going to get up plenty of shots Monday and Tuesday, so he will be ready to go on Wednesday. Vooch, because of exactly what he said to the GOAT about how many games did he actually take off because of the calf?
I think he missed 7.
7. He said in your article that it helped him reset, probably more mentally than physically, because he admitted, and rightfully so, that this whole trade deadline kind of messed with him a little bit mentally, more so than it should have because of it. He's been in the league long enough to know better. But from a personal level, when you have a family and when you have kids, it's just humanly impossible to not let it bother you. If it doesn't bother you, then there's obviously something wrong with you, okay? But because of that reset that he's had, and because of how well he's played in April, averaging a double-double, I felt it was necessary for him to continue to play because he missed those games. Because the way players think, and ones like Vooch, who when he played 82 games and how important that was to him, if he plays poorly or going into a game, he will think about, oh, man, I missed 7 games. How am I going to be? Because now I promise you, when they walk into the gym tomorrow, whether it's to do film, whether it's for practice, their mentality is different, whether they want to admit it or not. Because this is basically like an NCAA tournament game. This isn't a 5-game series. It's one or done. You're not this 7th seed and you're not the 8th seed. You don't have the luxury of losing a game. All right? And I believe that this is a big deal to them. This game is huge to them, okay? Because they truly think that they can get that 8th seed. I think they truly believe that because of all the teams and the success they've had as of late. So I'm like, oh, that's fine then. Go for it. Do your thing, all right? I want to see how they play against a team that I truly believe. I can't wait to see the line for the game on Wednesday. Because to me, it's 50-50.
Yeah, I think the line will reflect that.
And I think that we could sit there but I think we could have an argument of why the Bulls should win and why, because you want to say, well, on the season, this is a team that's not played well at home, but you just pointed out, as I heard you in the other room, they're 7-3 at home since the All-Star break. 7-4, excuse me. So now all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, mate, wait a minute. But at the end of the day, it's just, and Matt, you and I talked on the phone about the Miami Heat and playing for pride and the culture, and Spo's going to make sure these guys are ready to play. And I think in a game like of this magnitude, if Hero has the ball and he's wide open late in the game, and I don't think you'll see him stopping for a three. He'll take it in for the layup to make it a one-possession game, right? But this is also now where you flip the script, and this is now, even though it's not a playoff game, let's be very clear here, you have playoff mentality.
Sure.
And from the jump, this is important. And unlike the regular season where we've seen the Bulls constantly come back, climb that mountain, sometimes get over, more times than not, but make it interesting, I don't think you're going to have that luxury in this game on Wednesday.
What were you going to say about the line, Coach?
I was just going to say, despite the fact that the Bulls are hosting it, at least before the game, a lot of the projection models, basketball references, playoff projections, ESPN BPI, all had the Heat as the more likely team to make the playoffs. So I don't know what the line will be for that game specifically, but despite the fact that the Bulls won all three matchups during the regular season this year, it's going to be a very competitive game.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Wood, because I'm just kind of curious about this. Who do you feel, like in a game like this, when the guys are playing, who do you feel the rhythm is more important for? The rhythm to maintain is more important for? Is it more important for a 5-year guy like Kobe, or more important for like a 10-plus year vet like a Vooch?
I think Kobe, because he's consistently admitted he's a rhythm player, right? Vooch, I think, has been in a position to where he's in a position to where he's been in the league long enough. He knows what, to him, I think as he admitted to Will, it's more mental than anything else for him about his approach and what he can and can't do. And I think that has a lot to do also with April. I'm not even talking about what his shooting splits are. They're back to what they were at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
D-Loss-023 in the comments saying the Heat aren't the same without Jimmy. And that's something else you and I were chatting about earlier today, Purdue, is that, like, it's kind of a toss-up. I think the Bulls and Heat are evenly matched teams as far as talent and ability, and I think we can have ourselves a very close game on Wednesday. The Heat aren't the same without Jimmy was a true statement for, like, the dozen or so games after the Jimmy trade happened.
Okay.
The Heat looked like a team that was steering fully into a tank.
Yeah, they did.
Lost like double-digit consecutive games. But then what happened? Jimmy and the Warriors came to town.
Hello.
The Heat, undermanned as they were, got up, like you were saying, Will, like something to play for, pride, et cetera, et cetera. They beat the on-fire Jimmy Buckets and Steph-led Warriors, and since then have been a team that has been breathing new life. They were 7-3 over their last 10 coming into the season finale. They did take a 1-point loss to the Zards today with that same noon tip-off time the Bulls had against Philly. But it looked like the Heat were going to roll over and die, but then they didn't, because Heat culture, put whatever amount of value you put on that, that's fine. But I do think one game, win or go home, I do not anticipate the Heat to roll over and die in that game.
Yeah, no, you're going to get their best shot. And that Bulls game that they played against them, that last game that they played, I guarantee you, Eric Spoelstra, you won't hear from him for like the next 2 days. He is going to be in the lab with that game and some of the previous games, but more so that one than anything, because that's the one without Jimmy. That's the one they could kind of focus on, because the Bulls were really trying to play them to their best. And so since they gave them their best shot, you're about to get Eric Spoelstra's best shot as far as coaching is concerned.
We got to take our first break right there. When we come back, more to get to. We can, talk about the back end of the rotation guys we saw today, maybe look ahead to that game on Wednesday and talk about who among them, if any, will be getting minutes. Throw us your comments, any questions you have in that chat. Hit the like button while we share some ads. More after this.
It's Will Perdue.
Bet365, y'all. I abstain from putting bets on today's game.
What?
But because Game 82s, totally unpredictable. But you better be sure I'm getting some bets ready for those play-in tournament games.
Set your patootie.
Whatever the moment is never ordinary at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose that $5 bet doesn't matter. Just be sure to use that promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. Put $10 in your account. Take half of that $10. Make a bet on one of these play-in tournament games. And when that bet is finalized, either way, you will see $150 of bonus bets dropped right into your account. And with the Bet365 early payout offer, if your basketball team is up 20 points, there's an instant payout winner on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download that app. And again, don't forget the promo code CHGO365. Those bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Don't forget that promo code, CHGO365, to get that $150 bonus bet offer. Must be 21 and older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in app only.
Empire Today!
Oh, floors.
Oh, it's about them floors.
Floors!
All they do, Matt, is floors, and floors.
No matter what.
No matter what. Just like your favorite team needs a home court advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage. See what they did there?
Wordplay.
Intelligence, IQ. And Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals whose focus is on flooring every single day. Now, we all been to them big box stores. We don't want to go, but sometimes you got to go. You know what I mean? Katie don't want to, have to leave her house to go do that. But she got to do that. You know what I mean? So she got to do that. So she leave, and she's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do something about these floors. Let me slide over to that floor section. Let me see what they got right here. You know what? Somebody maybe will be an expert in this section who will come help me out. Do. You hear the stomps like it's Jurassic Park. Here he comes around the corner, upset because he got to be there and he ain't supposed to be there. And he don't know what he's talking about. Here come Biff. Don't know what he's doing. Biff, hello, man. How can I help you? What do you need? Yeah, I want to look at this floor. Oh, no. I don't know about floors out here. I'm at a big box store. Would you like a hot dog? Don't want no hot dog. Want floors. That's what I'm here for, Biff. Can't help you out. You can stay at home. And guess what? When you stay at home, you can chill out because you got that shop at home convenience with Empire Today. They live and breathe flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ball game. Pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. See how it looks in your home with your furniture in your house. Get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered so there will be no surprises. With Empire Today, you get that clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. So schedule a free in-home estimate today, y'all, because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners, that's y'all. You can receive a $350 discount when you use that promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard me right. A $350 discount with that code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit Empire Today /CHGO for full details. 588-2300. Katie, who's not to have a microphone, so she passed the Will Perdue, who's speaking for her today.
Empire. Today.
Really?
That's a good Katie.
Oh, now you talk.
That was actually a spot-on Katie impersonation.
That was a pretty good one, right?
That was good.
Yeah, because of when you say hello, hey.
I do like the Katie. Hey. It's so cheerful.
I enjoyed the guns.
Rolling along CHGO Bulls.
She does guns?
Yeah.
I think she's about to do one right now at me.
Might be a one-finger gun.
Shout out to Julie RZ in the comments who said, can't believe it's the end of the regular season. I can. Thank you for being my emotional support in this roller coaster. You are very welcome, Julie.
Right ain't over.
Wyatt D saying in the comments, thanks for covering another up and down season, always making the games as enjoyable as possible. You are so welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate y'all, Bulls Nation.
Yeah, man.
A roller coaster of a season it was.
Yes, it was.
They put up that little graphic at some point on the broadcast. The Bulls started the season 18-20. Mm-hmm. Then the Zach trade happened. The new guys come in. They're trying to figure out their pieces. The next stretch after an 18-20 start, they go 6-18.
Mm-hmm.
Then they finish 15-5 over their last 20. What is this team? Oh my goodness.
It's consistent, Matt.
It is consistent
what they've done,
regardless of the pieces, because that was a weird roller coastery way to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But what are they always?
Not 2, not 4, always.
Sometimes 3.
Under 3. Wait, sometimes 3?
I mean, always 3, sometimes 2,
There it
sometimes
is.
4. And they made their way back to that still being true. 39-43. What a wild ride.
Can't kill that beast, baby.
You can't. I did want to talk a little bit about the back end minutes that we saw. And again, it is a meaningless game other than the, surrounding factors of rest versus rust. And but of the bench guys, some of whom started tonight, aka Julian Phillips, it was Julian's second consecutive start, just his 5th start on the year. And he played 26 minutes, which other than THT was a team high. We also saw Dalen Terry play 18 minutes off the bench. He has been looking more lively recently. He has been looking like a more confident three-point shooter at times recently.
Yes.
He was 0 for 3 tonight from 3 of 9 from the field for 6 points. Julian Phillips, following up his career high night, put up 9-7, couple of dimes, couple of steals, and a block. Like what I'm seeing from Julian Phillips. The question, though, is, assuming still no Lonzo, still no Trey, Giddey's back, your starting 5 is going to be Kobe, Giddey, Herter, Modest, Vooch, right? Then what does Billy Donovan do with 6, 7, 8, and maybe 9 in that game against Miami? You got to assume, based on the last few games, that Julian Phillips will be one of those players. We saw both Collins and Jalen Smith today. Saw more Jalen Smith today than we've seen in a while. I don't know if that was just because of it being game 82, but there's some interesting decisions that Billy has to make in that back half of the rotation.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm actually going to look it up right now, the play-in rotation from last year, because I feel like it's hard to know. I mean, they have this whole thing about playing with depth and, having these like fresh legs to come in. At the same point, like Billy has really been riding his guys. Yeah. And we saw, obviously, these last couple of games, Julian has played a lot. The games before that, Dalen was coming on, and he was that guy, and Julian wasn't playing as much. And I really feel like he falls into playing the guys that are playing well, and that's good and makes sense. But when you're in a 1-game single elimination situation, it's a little bit harder to project that out. My guess is that Zach Collins will be in the backup 5 role. I feel pretty comfortable with that. I obviously those 5 starters are going to be who they are, and it would not surprise me if those guys just play 42, 44 minutes and there's spot minutes for Julian or whoever else it is off the bench. These games are too important now for you to be gambling with minutes. And I think that's going to be something that Billy has to contend with here as he figures out who to play, because even like Patrick, I thought played well today. He obviously had the 20-something point game the other night. Like, can you afford to have him out there if he's not being productive? Well, I think the leash has to be super tight with a lot of these guys.
I think you have to say that Patrick had a decent second half today. He was a ghost in the first half.
Yeah.
Literally scored 0 points.
Ghost town.
Well, who Goat is part of that 3-man rotation between Kobe, Giddey, and who? Because I think that's how you handle the 1 and 2. You're going to have to go with a 3-man rotation, mainly because of injuries. Because I will say this, and I don't think he will be a part of this rotation unless they get off to a poor start. But because of the fact that you're missing primary ball handlers, having Dalen Terry come off the bench, and he showed it tonight, he just is not good with the ball. All right, he's a little sloppy. As I was joking with you guys, I heard the first part of the game in the car as I was driving back from Ohio, and Chuck basically went, and he threw it to a guy wearing a red shirt. Unfortunately, he was in the stands. But my point is that who in your case, I think guys coming off the bench obviously are going to be, P. Will, Julian Phillips. I think it's a matchup between Zach Collins and Jalen Smith, depending on who he thinks can guard. What's going to Bam Adebayo. But who's the third primary ball handler?
Here's what it was against the Heat last week when they played in what was obviously a very meaningful game for them. So Modest 34 minutes, Vooch 35, Kobe 36, Herter 37, Giddey 40 minutes. Off the bench, you had 13 minutes for Zach Collins, 14 for Patrick Williams, 16 for Dalen Terry, 7 for Julian Phillips, and 8 for Talon Horton-Tucker. So we're talking about spot minutes for Julian and Talon with really an 8-man rotation, including Dalen Terry, Patrick Williams, and Zach Collins off the bench. So I would expect it to be even tighter than that and probably only going 8 deep with maybe like either Talon or Julian or Dalen, one of those three being kind of like the 8th or 9th man, where you're just going to have to ride your starters as much as possible, get them some rest where you can. And then if the game calls for a little bit more scoring, maybe you go with THT. If it calls for more defense, then maybe you go Dalen or Julian.
D-Loss in the comments just said THT has to be in that bench rotation. And that's interesting because I think THT is one of those players who's very polarizing among the fan base. Some people love just the bucket getter who goes out there, he puts his head down, he makes things happen. We saw some very impressive THT finishes today. I mean, that spin move down the lane and that just two-handed hammer of a dunk. We're like, wow. But then there are also some who feel like he does not fit into the offensive system that Billy and the Bulls are really trying to play. So I think that's in his 2 point. Like, it depends on how the early returns of that game are going. If the Bulls are playing their style and shots are falling and they're, keeping that pace up, dictating the pace, then maybe you don't need that, microwave offense button that is THT, who can come in and get you buckets, but might upset some certain other elements of what you're trying to do.
I think that a guy like THT is very necessary in the postseason. Anytime you have a guy, because you guys know this, not especially you, it slows down, you know what I mean, in the postseason. It becomes a half-court offense kind of thing. When it becomes that kind of thing, I think you have to have one-on-one guys sometimes because the team knows what you're going to do and they're going to try to take away what you do best, especially on defense. When you got that happening, it's good to have guys who can just take you off the dribble, you know what I'm saying, and go one-on-one and maybe get to the foul line and create that kind of way. The Bulls don't have a ton of those guys. I mean, Kobe can do it for sure, but you saw what they did to Kobe last game. So that's going to be on it. Giddey is getting better at it, I think, just as far as his creation of him getting to the foul line. For me, that's shot creation. So he's getting to the line, so he might not score, but he might get to the line 8 times. That definitely helps. And then I'm going to need one more. I'm going to need another guy to get out there and do that. And I think THT in spot minutes can kind of give you that and give you a little burst, you know what I'm saying, in that situation because you can't hold anything back. That's the other thing about the play-in. It's a game 7 no matter what. So you can't really hold anything back. You've got to, empty the cupboards out there, and I think Billy, depending on how it goes, I think you're right, Will. I think it's going to be between an 8 to 10 man rotation. I think the leashes will be shorter on guys. Like one mistake, you're gone. Like it's going to be like that. I'm talking about bench guys. One mistake, nope, can't rock with you. Let me see this other person. Okay, keep going with that. I think you'll see more of that kind of thing in this one because if the Bulls go down, that's what's going to happen. Billy is not, I don't think, will stay the course so much.
Doesn't have the luxury of doing that.
Boom, right there.
I was just going to say, I think Talon's the kind of guy that could maybe not play in a handful of postseason games in like a 7-game series, but he also might like win you a game.
Yeah.
By scoring like 11 points in 8 minutes or something off the bench. So I agree. He's the kind of player that can be really useful in some moments, but maybe the game doesn't call for him in others. And Billy's just got to balance that. I think Modest is another guy that falls into that category. Of.
There was a reason I didn't mention him, but yeah.
We started talking about this the other day, and maybe we can pick it up after the break. But I wonder how tight a leash Billy is going to have on Modest if he makes a mistake early on in a playing game. Is that going to be the end of him, or is he going to ride it out and see what Modest can give you? And I think that's Billy's been talking a lot about development and earning those minutes. I think this is a really important time for Modest. His first action in the postseason. I don't know. I think that could be a very interesting thing to monitor.
If Modest Buzelis makes a mistake early in that game and Billy sits him and we barely see Modest again for the rest of the night, I'm going to put something in Billy's coffee. You preach about young guys learning in games that matter. This is why you want a young team to go, right? To the play tournament. You can learn things.
He meant a sweetener.
Yeah.
That's it.
The wrong kind.
You know what I mean?
Just to bug him.
Right, you're right. Almond.
We got to knock out a couple more ads. Stick right here, Bulls Nation. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Vote in that poll Katie put up. Throw us a super chat if you feel jazzed. We will talk to you on the other side of these ads.
Oh, man. You know what, Matt?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Take a sip of that, sir.
Okay.
Game 82.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you saw it just drain away from him. And look how happy and chill he is. He even brought the Burks out for y'all, ladies and gentlemen, to let you know how serious he is right now.
Spring is here.
Oh, and it just got so much better because it's Sam season. Introducing that Sam Adams American Light. It's clean, it's crisp, and it's super easy to drink. There are no gimmicks. There are no fluffs. There are no woozies. And for the sake of Will Perdue and Will the Go Gottlieb, there are definitely no wazzies, ladies and gentlemen. Get them out. Sam Adams American Light is not your average light beer. It's brewed with 100% American-sourced ingredients from local independent farmers. It's simply light beer that is made right. Because light beer shouldn't feel like a compromise. It's an American classic, so smooth. It can go to the stadium and hang out with Will Perdue and Will the Goat Gottlieb, ladies and gentlemen, and they'll allow it. That's smooth. You're going to want to crack open another one. And then another one. And then one more after that. Why? Because it's always Sam season. Light beer just got better. Grab some Sam Adams American Light, available right now at select Chicago retailers. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Today's show also brought to you by Cornbread Hemp. Life can get a little crazy sometimes. One thing that helps me unwind, Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies. Have you been looking for a natural way to relieve aches and pains and discomfort? The CBD gummies from Cornbread Hemp are formulated to work with your body, not against it. I am not as young as I once was. Very noticeable fact. Just listen to me sit down or get up out of a chair. But you know, that doesn't mean I don't try to do what I can to maintain my physical and mental wellness. Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies are a huge piece of my wellness plan. Have you tried everything under the sun for peace of mind? It sounds like it's time for you to try Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies. They're made to help you feel better, whether it's stress, discomfort, just needing a little relaxation. And here's the best part about cornbread. They only use the best part of that hemp plant. That's right, the flower, the buds. Not the stems, not the stalks, not the seeds, not any of that stuff that we don't want when we're talking about hemp that some other CBD manufacturers do put in their products.
Jerks.
Cornbread said, no, just the flower. That's the good part. It provides the purest and most potent CBD. It's also formulated to relieve discomfort, stress, and sleeplessness. All products are third-party lab tested, USDA organic to ensure safety and purity. So what are you waiting for? Right now, they're offering CHGO listeners 30% off your first order. Just visit cornbreadhemp.com/CHGO. Use promo code CHGO at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/CHGO. Promo code CHGO at checkout to get 30% off your first order. Cornbread Hemp. This is the good life. People in the comments talking about Modest in this big playing game we got coming up.
Yeah.
Hannibal asking, who can we bench Modest for? P. Will? We've seen that experience for 4 years. Wyatt saying, Modest earned the right to make mistakes in this upcoming game and still play. Boom. Right there.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that statement 110%.
Yeah. Because
we have seen what Modest has looked like in this stretch of games since the Zach trade where his minutes have gone up. He's taken on a starter's role. And he has, I think, earned the benefit of the doubt. If he misses a defensive assignment in the first quarter of this do-or-die play-in game, that should not warrant sitting on the bench for the rest of the night, especially given what Modest can do for you.
Yeah.
We've seen what Modest can do for this team when he's locked in and playing. And and as the other question from Hannibal, what are Billy's better options? Yeah. We were talking the other night, Dave, about
it's me.
Can you really trust P. Will in this do-or-die play-in tournament game? And then we saw what he did today.
Yeah.
Slow start, to put it generously, coming out of that first half. And then second half minutes, Pat's like, ooh, I'm in the starting lineup because the starters are getting the rest of the day off.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there and bum stiggity against these Sixers who are already boarding their flights for vacation. and then that's when we see the Pat where it's like, and look, we all got love for Stacey.
Yeah.
I was listening to Stacey talk about Patrick Williams that second half on the broadcast. Like, dude, are you still trying to convince someone that this is the thesis on Pat?
Maybe he had accidentally ingested a little cornbread.
Hey, maybe. Ooh. Maybe. Do they also make throat lozenges? I just like
the flour.
If I'm Billy Donovan, who do I trust more to go out there and make a difference?
Supposed to take the red pill? Oh crap!
I'm trusting Modest over Pat right now, going into a do or die playing game. That's just the fact of what we've seen.
Yeah, I think you are probably right there, just because, like, in terms of not having other options, if Trey Jones and Lonzo were healthy, and going with Giddey at the 4 and 3 guards or 4 guards, I guess.
Yeah.
Was an option. That's the alternative that I could see Billy going with.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to have just as short a leash with Dalen Julian and Patrick as he will with Modest. So maybe if one of them gets off to a bad start and the other one comes in and then they make a mistake and then you put the first one back in.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to be pretty quick, just because, again, there isn't enough time to like play through that stuff in this game. And I agree that Modest has earned it. Billy has said as much to the media that like everything Modest has, he has earned. And I think there's a lot of value in that for Modest. But at the same point, like, if it comes down to it in a play-in game, in a one-off scenario where your season is on the line and 2 mistakes in a row, it's like, I wouldn't blame him for taking him off either. But still, from the perspective of thinking about the Bulls long-term, the most important thing probably for anyone is to get Modest experience in those moments.
Yeah.
And if he has earned it, then he's earned it, and he should be out there.
Listen, I'm going to look at the bigger picture here for a second.
Okay.
And this just comes from a playing experience and dealing with different coaches.
Flex.
Okay. There was a reason why Billy was talking about Modest has to earn his minutes. Okay. And it wasn't 100% about earning his minutes. It was about also worrying about others on the roster as well. Okay. Because I think the one thing that, and this is just my opinion, this isn't about coaching. This is about understanding your players on your team in front of you. I always talk about, people are like, what's outside of the talent level, what's the difference between the NBA and college? College, you can have one rule for all the guys. Everybody follows the same rules. Penalties are all the same. That's just not how the NBA works. Everybody's handled differently. So I think because of the youth on this team, Billy felt it necessary, when asked by the media about Modest earning his minutes, not being given his minutes, to allow a few others, not to mention any names, the ability to possibly earn their minutes as well. Okay? But at some point, you get to that threshold where you're like, all right, player A has had his chance, player B has had his chance, player C has had his chance. I got to put the best lineup out there. And the best lineup right now with what we have available is Modest in the starting lineup. Period. Has nothing to do with how long player A, B, C, or D has been in the league. I can promise you that, Billy is at the point of this part of the season, and part of this, in my opinion, that they went 7-4, or what was it since the All-Star break?
At home?
15-5.
Over their last 20.
Over the last 20.
Is because it was about one thing, and one thing only, winning. Not about making sure player A gets a certain amount of minutes and player B gets a chance to do this and player C gets the opportunity to prove something. It's an 82-game season. They've obviously had plenty of opportunity to prove who they are, what they are, and what they can do. So we've seen Modest on the rookie roller coaster, right? Well, that ride is over. We're now in a situation where it's one game, put your best lineup out there, put your best lineup, which in this case is going to be very tight and small. Don't have the luxury of going 10 deep. And I kid you not, part of it for Billy is prayer. That, Herter knocks down a couple early threes, right? The Bulls don't have a lot of sloppy turnovers because of the pressure. Vooch is ready to roll, and he's getting the ball in the proper places for him to score. There's a lot of things that have to happen, right? So at the end of the day, I asked the three of you, which of the two teams has bigger margins to play with, meaning can make more mistakes and still win on Wednesday? That's what this comes down to, is trying to minimize the mistakes that a team with specific style of players and talent level can make in order to win the game.
I think the Bulls minimizing their mistakes in the second half is what was the most key to their victory against the Heat when they played them last week.
Great point.
Because both teams were sloppy in the first half. It was a turnover fest. The Bulls cut down their turnovers in the second half and kept playing to their style. When they play to their style while minimizing the turnovers, that's when you see them as like the most formidable version of themselves against NBA competition.
Yeah. Well, I thought that point you made about Modest was basically, boom goes the dynamite. They were playing to win, and they weren't playing to, check and see, you know what I'm saying, and give guys time just to give guys time out there. They wanted to win every single game, especially after that All-Star break. And Modest was in that lineup and part of the reason that they were winning a bunch of those games. So I don't think Billy will stray away from that. What I'm curious about is, does it change as far as the one-on-one situation when everything breaks down, when everything, isn't going right, when it goes to Modest? How many of those situations will he be allowed to create and to allow to have? So that's what I'll be wondering. Like, if he does it the first time and it works, okay, great. Is he allowed to have another time and another time and another time? Like, how many times will it work that way and Billy will say, hey, man, stop doing that, swing the basketball to someone else? Or, hey, man, come talk to me for a second and sit down. That's what I'm curious about. I know Modest is going to be out there, but will he be allowed to impact the game as far as just as a creator, a one-on-one guy? Because we know Modest really enjoys doing that. He likes to create. And that's just a question I'm wondering, from Billy. And it's something I wanted to ask you also, Will. And this is not the comparison I'm making, and it may even be a dumbass question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. When you played with Tim Duncan and you were there with him his rookie season, was there at any point in time a leash on Tim Duncan? Or was it just like, dude, go do your thing, you're Tim Duncan?
No, he proved himself in the preseason. There was no limitations on him whatsoever, because it was. But I understand what you're saying. You're not making that comparison, but you were asking about, okay, a rookie coming in.
Right, exactly.
But you were talking about two different teams with two different goals. I mean, we knew what our goal was from day one.
Win.
Exactly. It all. Now, we ended up losing to Utah, but at the end of the day, it was about, okay, we got the number one pick. We've had 8 games, 4 weeks. This guy's legit. Let's roll. Okay. And he's only going to get better as the season goes on.
Right.
So the question is, how do we fast forward this in a position to where, he becomes our guy? It obviously happened a lot quicker than we thought it would. But at that point now, it was just about getting experience with him in that rotation. And when did we win the championship? The second year when he was in the league. So that's how quickly he adapted. To what Will mentioned about the quick hook, I think that Billy will actually be a little more patient than you think in this situation, because, again, the best players in the game to prove themselves, which then goes to your question on how much freedom will he have. I think it's a situation to now, this is where we learn probably more about Modest than in any other game this season, because of his ability to, unfortunately for him, the ball swung with him with 6 seconds on the shot clock. How can he process that? What does he see in front of him? And does it look like a thing of beauty, or does it get ugly quick? Right? Because what you don't know in these guys is he stepping on the floor saying, just keep doing what you're doing? Or is he stepping on the floor about, now this is my time to show the Bulls and the fans that I was the right guy? Okay? Because this is, everybody's watching this game. Because we all know these guys got their friends, they're hype guys, so we don't know what type of conversation he has with his boys between now and then, compared to what the coaches say, what the game plan is, to what he says, what his family says, what his friends say. Have we learned enough about Modest the person, not the player, to know who he listens to, what he listens to, who's in his inner circle, things of that nature. Because, you know, a perfect example, okay? And this is not to badmouth Kobe's brother, because I actually like the guy. I really never met him, but, you know, I think he occasionally would hype Kobe up a little too much, to the point where I think Kobe just had to adjust to what his brother said, what the coaches said, how to filter that information, and then, you know, spit out the answer and go forward.
Well, and regardless of what's said, there's no denying that Kobe White's actual role on this team has changed constantly since they drafted him all those years ago. Yeah. I think for the most part, he's done a really solid job handling all of those fluctuations. We got to knock out a couple more quick guys, then we'll come back to wrap things up with a few more thoughts on the Bulls win today and that do or die playing game facing them against the Heat on Wednesday. Hit the like button. Whoa. While we read some ads, then find out who the goon of the night is after this.
Oh, God. Okay, man.
Yeah.
Segue Peck. Because now I got to talk about some Monarch money. Get your paper. Finances can be messy and confusing. Monarch Money acts like your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control so you can stop earning and start growing. That's a bar. It's more than your average budgeting app. Monarch Money is a complete financial command center for your accounts, investments, and your goals. Don't just manage your money. Start building wealth with 50% off your first year for all the listeners out there. I use Monarch Money. I really like it. It really, really does help me out in increasing my financial literacy as well. Like, it just does. You're able to set those goals, your budgeting goals. Like, it's my first time creating a budget, and I did it on Monarch Money.
Money talks.
Money talks, baby. Shout out Chris Tucker. But it's a wonderful, correct. It's a wonderful thing, though. Honestly, it really does help, man. And I think you guys would really like it. And Will Perdue, he likes it. He's a money guy. That's how he rolls. Start managing your finances to build the life that you actually want. Monarch Money makes managing money simple, even for busy lives. With all your accounts, credit cards, and investments all in one place, you'll always know where your money stands without hassle. You can track your spending, your savings, and your investments effortlessly so you can focus on what matters the most, making your biggest life goals a reality. Monarch Money is a finance tool people actually love. Dave, of course, I mean, you love everything. Of course you would say that. How you know it's a Monarch tool people love? Well, because it was named the Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025. So take all that love with you right there. Get control over your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code CHGO at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off of your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with that code CHGO. Keep your finances right and keep them tight with that thing they call Monarch Money.
You okay?
All the time.
CHGO Bulls post game also brought to you by Game Time.
Game Time!
Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks, y'all. It makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. And not just your favorite teams, your favorite bands, your musical artists, your theaters, your concerts, your comedies.
Ooh, all of that.
Whatever you want. Chicago has it all. Whatever you want. Use Game Time to find all of them tickets. Mm-hmm. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They also have all-in pricing. Toggling the all-in pricing feature shows you the total up front, so you don't get bombarded with all the surprise fees that you find at some ticketing services at checkout, and you're like, well, you clicked your mouse again fee, and you're like, what? Well, yeah, because I wanted to advance to the checkout. It was like, well, that's another $25. No. Game Time takes out that annoying part of the process for you. They also have the great seat views feature, so you know exactly what your view of the stadium, of the court, of the arena, of the stage for the concert will look like from each seat that you're contemplating purchasing. They also have their lowest price guarantee, which means Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you ever, and they dare you to try, find the exact same ticket to the exact same event, the exact same seat on a different ticketing service for a cheaper price than Game Time's. 110% credit of the difference. Boom. They also have incredible ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry.
Flex.
So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Just use that promo code CHGO when you sign up to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today because Uncle Will, what time is it?
Game time?
Like how professional you got on that.
Well, I'm looking at some things to figure out who the goon of
Who the
the
goon
night
of the night is.
Oh,
We got
is
some
that what
people
you're
throwing their nominees in the chat. Just real quick before we get to goon of the night, because I think I want to put a bookend on, and we'll preview Bulls Heat even more as we roll into the week
Oh, you
before
better
Wednesday.
believe it.
But you were talking about like room for error, Uncle Will, like which team has more room for error in a do or die game like that, and maybe will that or will that not dictate Billy and his leash on certain players, younger players. Something to keep in mind is that these Bulls Heat games, yes, the Bulls got the better of them in these regular season matchups so far. The Heat have knocked the Bulls out of the play-in tournament twice in each of the last 2 years. Whether it be those play-in tournament games of years past or these regular season matchups, both of these teams can go on lulls offensively. Like if you all recall, the Heat had a field goal drought in last year's play-in tournament matchup of like nearly 7 minutes. And in that 7 minutes, the Bulls were struggling just as mightily offensively to score. Could not narrow the gap as much as the Heat gave them that window to do so.
I remember.
The Heat are not an offensive juggernaut of a team by any stretch of the imagination. After the All-Star break, obviously post-Jimmy trade, they tanked for a while, then they bounced back after they faced Jimmy and the Warriors. But collectively, they have the 19th offense in the NBA after the All-Star break. They are only 22nd in the NBA in three-point attempts after the All-Star break. So one quick way to go on a run, whether it's to build a lead or get back into a game, is bombard your opponent with threes. That's not really in the Heat's MO. It would be an unlikely occurrence. So the Bulls, I think, would have a substantial runway to, and I know, Uncle Will, you were talking about try not to dig yourselves a hole out of the gate, which they have done plenty this season. And weirdly, especially at home, we have seen them get out to slow starts. They can recover from it because this Heat team is prone to just slogs of offensive incompetence.
Slogs of offensive incompetence. Damn, that dude can talk.
At the same time, they can flip that script on the Bulls and press a few magic buttons, and that Heat defense can just smother you.
Yes. So there's 3 areas. There's 3 areas where you have to focus on. Who has the better starting 5?
Wow. I'm going to go with the Heat, I think. Strictly, I'm just going off of Bam Adebayo and
Heat.
Tyler Hero.
A slight margin I would give to the Heat, yes.
Yeah, it's close.
I can tell you what the numbers say in a second.
Oh, he's a numbers guy.
No. I want your opinion first.
In my opinion, I would probably go. I don't know. The Bulls are playing well. The starting group is playing really well.
I don't think it's crazy to take the Bulls in
But
this
you haven't
scenario.
answered the question.
The starting group.
So you're saying Bulls?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's crazy.
I honestly think it's a toss-up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So right now
you gotta pick.
Huh?
You gotta pick.
I did.
You just made us all pick.
I did. Hey, just because you fell for that doesn't mean I have to.
I told you earlier today it's a toss-up.
The Heat's lineup of I don't know exactly what starting group they're gonna go with here in the post Jimmy Butler play-in era, but the Bulls lineup of Kobe, Herter, Giddey, Modis, Vooch is plus 3.3. The most used lineup in the post Jimmy era for the Heat is plus 9.6. So Rozier, Hero, Haywood Highsmith, Jovic,
I
and
forgot
Bell.
about Scary Terry.
But if they go with
That's like a THT right there.
That's right.
they just have a bunch of different lineups. It's hard to predict what they'll do.
And also, I saw somebody in the comments asking about Jovic was not active for that Bulls. He came this past Wednesday, and I don't know what his status will be, if he'll be available or not.
But I'm just saying, I think it's kind of a toss-up, but I may lean more towards the Heat. But then I'll start by saying, when you take the next question, the bench, I'll take the Bulls. I just don't think the Heat's bench is very good.
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Matt?
Yeah. I would say we saw that
Even though there's there's a lot of injuries.
It's tough with the injuries. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because like if you include Lonzo and Io into the mix, then maybe it's a different story. But like
it's not close.
They've got Davion Mitchell who's playing well for them.
guy.
Duncan Robinson, Haywood Highsmith, Kyle Anderson.
Yeah,
So they've
Duncan
got
is like hit or miss. Though,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
But
they've
so
got guys. I'm not sure.
We're also at the point now where it's still, in our best professional opinion, it's a toss-up.
Mm-hmm.
So then that leads to, at the end of the day, which coach would you rather have in this situation?
Spo, 100%.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to win.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that at the end of the day, the Heat are probably favored.
Okay. And they should. I don't see.
I mean, those are the
that
three
shouldn't be
areas
the
where I
case.
always like to focus on a game.
Yeah.
How do your starters compare, plus or minus, toss up? How does your bench compare, plus or minus, toss up? Coaching, we all lean towards Spo. All right. Now there's so many things that go into that because it's just there's so much unpredictability about what happens.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
very
like,
much so.
what have been what odds would you have gotten today if you decided that I'm going to bet Herter hits 4? He goes 4 for 4 from the 3, and in the first half, right? So it's just one of those things. It's just there's always an unknown.
I also think the Heat probably have more wild cards than the Bulls do. I mean, you just mentioned Herter. He's a wild card for me. Like he's if this makes any sense, he's a consistent wild card.
Oh yeah.
Like I know he's gonna score. I know what he's gonna do.
He's gonna get his shots up.
Right. But will he score 22? You know what I mean, when he does it, or will he get you 10?
Right.
Or will he get you 12?
So you're talking about like outside of Hero and Bam.
Yes.
Like we saw Jaquez put up crazy numbers today.
Jaquez almost had
40
point triple-double.
That dude can go off like that.
Davion Mitchell, 3 has gotten better.
Mitchell had a really strong game against the Bulls on Wednesday.
Scary Terry, as you mentioned, Burks.
Duncan Robinson
is another guy.
Did
and
not
Duncan
play
Robinson,
well against the Bulls Wednesday. Then their next game out when they poured in 150 on the Pelicans, he went off in that game.
The king of the wild card is Duncan Robinson.
Bingo.
Is absolutely right. That's what he is.
That's the key right there. Is when it all comes outside of the coaching, we all lean towards the coaching. But you want to talk about an individual, it could be the biggest wild card in this game, period.
Yeah.
Because as quickly as Herter hit his first 4 threes, we know Duncan Robinson could go through a stretch over a 6-minute period where he can hit 8 or 9.
Yeah, bro. He can get real hot.
And I'm talking about one pass launch, pass launch. And Billy can't call timeout quick enough.
Yeah. Yeah, and he did not play well in that last game when the Bulls played the Heat. He was not good at all. And, yeah, maybe he comes back with a little something on it as well. But, yeah, man, it should be a really interesting game because there are so many different variables and unknowns in this game on both sides of the ball. And I'm just curious of which one gets answered immediately.
And now we got 48 plus hours of tension building
until
we find out.
Let it rise.
But for this afternoon, Dave, do we want to give an award and get out of here?
Hand up, Katie, turn it, bring it down across the face. Slap! Go to nighttime!
To be the man, you gotta beat the man now. I'm the man. Woo!
Gives the award.
I know, but I'm just asking if you wanted to, touch the greatness.
If you let me give it, I'll hold it. But.
Oh, that's how it goes. Huh? The cummerbund is what we'll want. Championship cummerbund.
Where's the ruffles?
Oh, man. Empire Today.
I had that in my high school. That was the thing back then.
You got pictures?
I'm sure there are somewhere.
Oh, let's go. Oh, another show, another time. Empire Today presents Goon of the Night. Afternoon, morning, whatever you want to call it. But it's Goon of the Night because that's what's on the belt. It's Empire Today. All they do is floors, no matter what. 580 to 300. Back!
Empire
Today.
There it is. I like how Katie always applauds Matt, and Matt only when he sings. I don't get no applause. I do. When he talks it to me to sing it, I drop it.
That's true.
Yeah. Good of the night. That's who it is. Katie, do you want me to come to you first so you can just yell it out about who you got?
I'm nominating myself
She will nominate herself for.
Is that your volume today, Katie?
Yeah.
Is that?
That's our volume. That's our volume.
She's pretty.
Because I went back and looked at our preseason predictions.
Uh-huh.
I was the closest to their final record. So Goon of the Night is me.
Yay! This is, I believe, the fifth time she's nominated herself.
What
this
did you
year.
have? What was your guess on 82 game record win loss?
34 and 48.
34. So she
But they
guessed
won
the
39.
highest win total at 34.
What did Tony Gill have? I remember him having them have 30-something. 31? 34, close to 39.
The rest of us picked in the 20s, right?
Yeah.
29,
Yeah.
29,
29.
29.
Probably.
27.
27? Yeah. Yeah. I'm proud of that
You
one.
shorted the Bulls a dozen wins, Go.
You know,
How dare you, hater?
Stop trying to
I was-
deflect.
I was under the impression that they would
I was under the
be
impression that they would
going
do
a
things
different
more logically
direction.
this
You were.
And here we are, back exactly where we started.
Well, then
All
I'm
right,
coming
here.
right back on you then,
Go
sir.
ahead.
39,
Give me your goon of the
43,
night.
and the 9th seed. Yeah, I'm going to go with Arturis. Again,
Wow, I didn't see that coming.
Oh, I love it.
Let him cook,
I
Will.
love it.
I mean, yeah, to go from mediocrity to mediocrity.
I was about to
In
say,
one
I'm waiting.
That's he's doing it his way.
3 straight seasons. First season, 40 wins. Last season, 39. This season, 39.
Yeah. And
What was the word
Some
you
would
said?
call that continuity.
No. What was Dave's word of the day?
Consistency.
Consistency?
You're going to hear that a lot today.
in all seriousness, though, like
Show's gone full circle.
I do think that there's an element of humor in this, right?
Yeah.
And
What?
just and
Dark
irony
humor.
Yeah.
of like we can joke about the fact that here we are again.
Yeah.
But at the same point, like I do think there is something goonly about
It's like a
refusing to do what everybody thinks you should do and what everybody expects you to do and what is logically the best thing for you to do. Not do that, do it your way and live with the consequences, whatever they may be. And I think they're probably pretty happy with the way that Kobe and Giddey have played, probably pretty happy with the way Modest has played and the fact that they didn't have to go all the way to the bottom just to get back to wherever they want to go. So I don't know if it's going to work out. I have questions about that.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, it takes a lot of goonliness to be able to be willing to go that path when everybody is telling you not to.
I like that. Katie's changing her nomination to Will the Go Gottlieb for his nomination of Goon of the Night.
Oh, we got to do a vote recount.
I thought you were going to be Katie's spokesperson, man. You should be delivering this news. What's going on?
No, I was about to because I was going to vote for Katie before she voted for herself. Well, it's just that you put up with our shit for 82 games.
She wasn't here all 82.
I haven't been here. I've only been here for half of it. Okay, for how many ever games she's been here. And then she usually cleans up Matt's hats when we're done.
I clean up my own hats some of the time.
She handles the clips. That's,
like how he ran to it and walked.
after discussions with Matt and Dave, she puts the clips up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a couple things. One, I think all of us look good
Well, that's a given.
for bringing Katie on board
Mm-hmm.
and then backing that nomination,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that she's outdone herself. So she's obviously not going to get a raise, so she needs to be Goon of the Night.
Slap.
Obviously. Just throwing the word obvious. Oh, okay.
Man, he saw Will the Go Gottlieb and said, I'll raise you, sir. Oh, man. No offense.
No. And good luck with that. But I'm just saying.
Will Perdue. Change your nomination again to Will Perdue. That he took over there. Oh, my gosh. Matt Peck. Got some stuff to follow right there, man. This guy's going
I
at
won't
it.
even try. I will just say I will nominate Bulls Nation as a collective, as an entity.
Brown
We made
noser.
it through. No. Are you kidding me? One of the most hated people in Bulls Nation right now because of my takes. And
That's just a move right there to try to smooth things over after 82 games.
I just genuinely wanted to say after another 82 game season doing this gig, which is obviously always an honor and a pleasure to do with y'all, bringing Uncle Will on board this season was super fun.
Yeah.
Bringing Katie on board, could not be more impressed and happy to have her.
Mhm.
I loudly disagreed with Bulls fans more this season than I have in a while that I can recall. And that's great. That's okay. Here we are. We're going to the play-in tournament for the third straight year. That's fun. For the most part, with a few exceptions, Bulls fans, I think, are great at having lively discussions and going from discussions to even debates, passionately voicing their opinions as a fan about what the team is doing right now and where they want the team to go. Mm-hmm. And that's why we all do this. It's why y'all tune in. It's why we host the show and engage with you, because it's fun, because we're fans, because we care. And we made it through another 82. They're 39-43 again, but we made it through another 82. So shout out to each and every one of you, because we appreciate you, truly.
Well done. Well said. I want to do a nomination. I usually don't do this, but I do want to nominate me. Right here, baby.
You do that all the time.
What are you talking about?
No. I've only
You're going to nominate yourself, but then not choose yourself, is what you're saying.
Correct. I've only nominated myself one time, and I won that one time. So that was my only.
You have the ultimate vote. I mean,
this is like when Billy's like,
shout out to me.
You know, I was really happy for Julian. He finally got some minutes today. And it's like, Billy, you can decide if he gets minutes. It's like, I'm really proud of myself for giving myself a nomination. Yeah. I'm not going to win today. You could decide to give yourself the win.
But I'm not going to do that because I don't feel I deserve it today.
So I'm agreeing.
I don't feel like I deserve it.
I'm agreeing with your nomination now as a result of that take.
I deserve this nomination. And then you can go ahead and get up on me. I promise you. I deserve this nomination.
I want to get going and get home and watch the end of the Masters, so make it quick.
I will make it quick just for you, Will Perdue. Like you make it quick for me all the time. The Perdue pause.
If you want to live in the past, that's fine.
No, I'm saying how you do the Perdue pause. That's what I'm talking about.
Because I'm just trying to gather my thoughts to make sure I say it
and you're very, very smart, and I enjoy your thoughts and what you say. So enjoy this right here.
I really want to hear this.
There's only one person up here who did all 82 games. And it's this person right here with this looking amazing and awesome with this hat and this hood on. All 82. Didn't miss a single show. Was here. Post, pre, mini, whatever. Right here. All 82. Just proud of myself for doing that.
Facts.
Always strive to do that. And I was just really proud of myself for doing that. So that's all. That's all I wanted to say. Any hate? Want to add?
I don't want to add any hate. I mean, I'm just going to pat you on the back for doing what we expect.
Yes. I got a Perdue pat on top of that. All right. Well, let's give this away so Will Perdue go finish the Masters, ladies and gentlemen. You see it. It's glorious. It's shined up, and it's nice. Goon of the night shall go to Matt Peck is correct. Bulls Nation.
Hey!
All y'all out there in the chat. Goon of the night is for y'all. You all deserve this. You're here all the time, watching this team, the ups, the downs, the middles, and that's it. But you're there all the time, and you're rolling with us. Whether you love us, you hate us, you like us, or you tolerate us, you're here for us, man. And we enjoy being here for y'all. So thank y'all for liking and enjoying what we do and just continuing to show us all the love that you continually show us, man. It really does mean a lot. Thank y'all. Truly. You deserve more than this. I wish I could give you more than this belt. You deserve so much more, but this is what we have, so this is what we're going to give.
We're fresh out of rings. We're fresh out of Larry O'Brien's.
Right, exactly.
We do have a belt for you.
You do got a belt for you. I got the cummerbund right here for you, man. It's y'all's, man. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Congratulations.
Amari said, I feel legendary.
Because you are, sir.
You are legendary.
You feel like what you are.
And hey, we got at least one more game left.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens.
Just one more.
In the meantime, y'all, always read the GOAT.
I'm okay with that.
I thought he won. I thought he won that day. Remember he was going absolutely, and I was like doing his stuff over there.
Yeah.
When I
recall that as well.
Yeah, I remember him winning that time. Maybe you weren't here that day. Of course you did. That's Katie. Shout out to it, ladies and gents.
Well, they got one more chance at least.
Yeah.
Take home that last Goon of the night.
Yeah, one more chance.
Or, I mean, not necessarily. Because if the Bulls take the L, that we could be done with Goon of the night for the year.
It's true. We'll see. We'll all find out Wednesday.
But that's the thing, though. That's a role I'm accustomed to, is just quietly doing my job, not being recognized, yet knowing that I'm a vital part of the cause.
Yeah. It's that championship talk is what that is.
Preach that.
Forward them things.
Wait a minute. I'd like to reverse my nomination after that remark from Katie.
How many reversals are we on now?
I'd like to withdraw. Excuse me.
I'd like to withdraw my reversal.
Withdraw the reversal.
Put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
It's your pimping the fam.
I mean,
I like to nominate Mr. Elliott.
The biggest mistake I made is that by buying her lunch, I thought she would be nice to me, but that was a mistake.
You can't bribe your way into love, Will. That's not how it goes.
This is true.
Most
of the time.
Most of the time.
There are exceptions to that rule.
That is facts.
Guys, read the GOAT stuff, allchgo.com. Become a CHGO diehard so you can read all of it, the very best of it. Perdue mentioned it. He's got a great piece that dropped yesterday about Vooch and this sort of like reinvigoration of Vooch after the checked out version of Vooch we saw after the trade deadline. Really great stuff, insightful comments from Vooch. Follow him, Will_Gottlieb. Follow Uncle Will _Perdue 32. He's a 4-time NBA champ. And will be with us for that Bulls Heat play in action on Wednesday. Also, maybe doing our play and preview with us on Tuesday. Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. Slap, slap.
Big days bow, BWL Sports. I'm Bulls _Peck. We are CHGO _Bulls. Our queen of the controls is the one and only Katie Duffy. Appreciate her always. Appreciate you always, Bulls Nation. 82 of 82. Done. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Go watch the rest of the Masters. We will talk as we near that play-in tournament. See you, Rep. Be good.
Love y'all, man. Peace.
Enjoy the bell.
We all silly like the mayor.